Today we're going to add two different types of napkins to this album. So the first type is 1/4 of the napkin is a complete picture. So we've got that there, and we've got that there, and we've got that there. Now I might go a little bit past that quarter. In fact, with this one I do. I extend it to there. And here's another one where it's a complete picture in just roughly the quarter of a napkin. Then there are other napkins that go all the way across in a continuous picture, and I'm going to show you how I add those to this album also. So that's half a napkin. If we bring that out, that's a half a napkin and it's a continuous picture. So these are the other ones we're going to add to this album today. Now this last one, that's all I've got left of it, but it does continue across that way. And I'm going to show you the steps I take to achieve this. And the steps will be up on the screen for you to see, and also the names of the napkins will be up on the screen for you to see. So if you want to purchase any of these napkins, have a look in the link below to NinnysNapkins. There's also a discount code for those first-time buyers. Before I glue the napkins in though, we're going to do just a little bit of page preparation on each of the pages, and I'll show you how I do that also. This book has blue lines, faint blue lines on every page, and I didn't want the back of the napkins to all look the same with maybe blue lines showing through. So I decided to do a little bit of page preparation by going through and adding white on some parts of some of the pages. So it's a little bit on the patchy side. You know, I'm not sure if you can see on this page, but I'll bring it up. And as you can see, some parts have got white on it and some parts you can see the blue lines. Now you can even see the blue lines through the white, but once you get the napkin on top, you're not going to see those blue lines that have got white over the top. So it just gives you a bit more textured or a bit more varied background to your napkins. So I'll just do a quick run through of a couple of different things I did to get those white lines, patches onto each of the pages in the book. And of course I had to make sure each page was dry before I flipped to the next page. And it was just white acrylic paint that I used. You might also decide that you want the whole page covered in white, and you could use a sponge or a brush and just sponge the whole thing. This next section in the video is all about adding the napkins. Just follow the steps that I show you and you will be able to easily complete this in a very short period of time. These two I'm looking at, and I'm looking at what else is on that page there. See that if I made it go all the way over there, I'm going to get the back side of that zebra, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to, I'll take off around there and around there. Now the difference between this picture and the zebra picture is the gap between the animals. If you actually put this on that edge and bring that all the way across, that line is barely touching. So we could actually have a full scene there across that page. This continuous napkin has a side that goes up that way and up that way. So I'm going to make this bit go up that side and just the little short bit go over that side. Now with this particular one, the first thing I'm going to come around the edges with a wet brush and just give that a raggedy edge to define that shape before I put it in to the book. And in order to do that, I need to peel the backing off, and then I just get a fine line script liner and just go around the edges and tear. And I always hold on the side of the napkin I'm keeping and pull on the side that I'm getting rid of, so that if anything's going to rip, it's more likely the bit I don't want. And I'm trying to protect the bit I do want by holding it. Now the reason we wet it is, one, it's easy, it tears more easily when it's wet than when it's dry. But the other reason that we wet it is because then it gives the tear a path to go on, the path of least resistance. The napkin is more likely to tear on the wet bit than the dry bit. So by wetting it, you're giving yourself an easy way to keep the tear where you want it to be. And you've got to be careful when you're handling this, because your fingers will stick to wet napkins. So when you want to lift your fingers off the bit you're holding, if there's any moisture there and your fingers stick to it, you could actually rip that napkin. So you've got to be very careful what you're doing. This is actually going on this page here. The other thing I want to do is I want to fit this right into that groove there. And if I have a lot of folded napkins in there, it's going to make that book pop out more, and it's already doing that, as you can see. So I'm actually going to fold this in half and cut it up the middle. And to fold it in half, I'm making sure it's dead straight along that bottom line, and put the crease in there. And I'll actually put a real good crease in that. The center where the stitching is, I might just glue that straight on across there, because there's not as big a dip there. That's actually all one page. I'm going to put napkin down here like that, and I'm going to fit it right into that edge there. And so the first thing I'm going to do is just put glue down that edge. And I'm using watered down Mod Podge, and I'm going to try and get that right into that seam. I haven't got a lot of glue on there, just a little bit at the moment, just to make it slightly tacky, just to get it into position in there like that. Okay, now we've got that down in position. I'll push that onto the glue and lift that, and we'll get this side wet. Now, you're not going to have a napkin that is wrinkle free with this method. It's just not going to happen. So don't expect it. It's bent under. Look at that. Wasn't watching what I was doing, but look, because I haven't got lots of glue down there, but I've got enough for it to be tacked down. Now see, we've got a wrinkle there, but that's it. It's not going to be wrinkle free. The texture is part of the design. And now I can come over the top and just get it all nicely in position. And you know, with this book, I went through, as you know, and added some white to these pages so that there wasn't just all blue lines under every napkin. There was a little bit of blue line, which adds a little bit of texture. And I wouldn't have gone through and put white on the pages if there were no blue lines. I would have just left it as is, or I might have even come in and stamped a little pattern under some sections, just so the napkin's a little bit different in some spots to others. So there we are, there's our first half in there. Now we do the same on the other side, and I've got to get this in here, get that right into that groove down there, matching the napkin on the other side. Okay, looks like I did that side a lot quicker. I probably felt more confident with what I was doing this time, but I think there's a slight twist in it, but that'll just add to the wrinkles. Just work your way out from the middle. Don't start over here and work your way to the middle. It'll have a big bulge in the middle. At least if you work your way out, the bulge can keep moving towards the outside and the bottom of the page and the top of the page, and you're not going to have a bulge you can't get rid of. I've worked my way out from the middle all the way up before I've gone to the edges on the other side. Of course, the napkin can twist and stretch a little bit too when it buckles, so it changes the position of certain flowers and leaves. And I've used Mod Podge, but I'm using the watered down Mod Podge, so it's a thinner consistency. I don't want this all thick and gluggy. There it is. That's a pretty little picture. Now, the next section we've got to do, this is the hard bit. There's a pocket there at an angle. So I need to get this on and leave a slit where the pocket is. I've got to work out how I'm going to get the split in it. So if that goes to there, goes round into there, then this is cut on an angle from there, cut on an angle from there down to there. So if I fold that on those two lines, I'll put a fold there, sharp fold. Now the first thing we have to do is get this to sit hard against that there, and then I'm going to sit that right against that edge and glue it on. So that goes up to that part of the thing, and I've got a little toothpick in there to keep those sides up so they don't stick. Might even put a second toothpick in once I've finished this. Now the next thing is I need to glue this along that edge there. So I put glue down that edge. Now I'll get another couple of toothpicks and put them in there. Just get them inside so that this edge is sort of sitting up all the way along. I want it sitting up all the way along down here and up there. Now in order to put this on, instead of cutting it at an angle like I did with the parrot, I do the same thing. I add this side and then I cut this side, and then when I add this side I fold it here along that edge and cut and add those two on that side to get my straight pocket. Now if you're enjoying what you're seeing in my videos so far, please press the like button, and if you would like to see more in this series or any of my other upcoming videos, please press the subscribe and the little bell so that you'll be notified of future videos. That needs to dry properly before I do anything else, but you could hit it with the hairdryer if you wanted to do it more quickly. Now a little trick I use so that the pages don't stick to each other is, while my wet page is drying, I actually prop it up with a lid or a pair of scissors or something like that, so that these edges where it's very, very wet don't stick to the pages underneath. I also, with every pocket, I make sure I've got a toothpick in there, and I move the toothpick every now and then too, so the toothpick doesn't stick to the glue either, but I just move it every now and then, and while it's drying, to make sure that the pocket doesn't stick to the piece underneath. And I also put extra bits under here to make sure that these pages don't stick to the pages beside them while they're drying. Now once you've got that dry, or pretty close to dry, then you can check the edges of your book to see if there's any napkin hanging over the edge, and on this one there is, and just snip off that edge, and then just check the other side. There's the tiniest little sliver hanging over there at that end. There we are. Cut that off. Now we're going to have a quick flip through all the pages that I've done so far with napkins. So we've got the front page, Parrot's napkin, with the pocket there, and the back page with the pocket on the other side, as you can see there. Now the next page was the white narcissus, and I centered that, and I only cut it in the middle, whereas this one I had to cut twice. I had to cut here and here. The next one I did was this continuous napkin here, and I just only cut it in the middle there and added each side. And the bunnies, I actually cut it in 3 places. I actually cut that out separately and put one there, and cut it in the middle and put one on either side. This one is the summer white napkin, I think, and we've got a pocket that goes all the way down there, so I've had to cut it there and there. This one, the eucalyptus, is beautiful, and I only cut it in the middle there, and as you notice, I've got it hanging down instead of going up, just to be a little bit different. I try to make each page layout slightly different if I can. Each napkin is different anyway, but if we can make the page layouts different as well, it just makes it a bit more interesting. This continuous one here, I put through the middle, so it's been torn at the bottom and the top, and cut through the middle with a pair of scissors. Now the little zebra, I actually stuck on all in one piece because this is all one piece of paper here. And this here, I'm not sure if I'm going to leave it like that or paint extra there yet. Well, I'm still making up my mind. This lovely one here is just a continuous one that I cut in the middle and tore around there, and I decided to leave the writing in. The the lion is one continuous scene. You can just see the baby lion's head sticking through there, and I cut it in the middle there only. This little napkin is called I'm in the Garden, and it's also a picture napkin, and it's only, excuse me, I've been painting, it's only a 5 by 5 inch. So what I've done is I've cut that off, that side, and I have taken the backing off and gone around really close to the edge with that water and tear method, and just added it to the bottom right hand corner of that page. That's all the ones that I'm going to show you this time. So if you want to see what I've done with the rest of the book, you need to come back for the next video. And if you want to see the preparation before I got to this stage, you need to go to my channel, The Painting Nana, and see the previous videos, although they should come up as an option at the end of this video on the screen.